Hi class, welcome to group time. We're going to start talking about safe food handling over the next couple of days. And I'm going to start out today giving you a little intro, and then we're going to talk about why it's important we wash our hands, okay? So as you begin to grow in independence as upper elementary students, you begin to take an interest in preparing your own snacks, maybe your own lunches, and even helping your parents with family meals. So to reduce the chances of spreading or picking up germs on our food, it's important for me to show you how to safely handle food and equipment. I know I can't physically be there in class with you and show you, but we're going to talk about it a little bit today. Hopefully we pick up some things. So, safe food handling, it refers to precautions taken when storing, preparing, and eating food, which reduces the risk of foodborne illnesses, which are illnesses that are caused by eating food contaminated by bacteria and other microorganisms. Now, contaminated means that a substance, such as food, has been made impure or unsafe. Handling food safely requires clean hands, work surfaces, and equipment. All of that has to be clean for you to properly make food. It also requires taking other safety measures, such as never drinking milk straight out of the container, which other people will be pouring, and storing and cooking foods safely and correctly. All right? So, even the most nutritious foods can hinder good health if these foods are not handled safely. This section will provide you with information for safe food handling, and it will help you avoid foodborne illnesses, which is caused by the contamination of food by bacteria and other microorganisms. So it's important to realize that bacteria is not the only thing that can contaminate food. You can also get contamination from viruses and parasites, but for the simplicity of this lesson, we're not going to go into that. We're just going to talk about bacteria today, okay? So bacteria can thrive in unclean, warm, and moist environments. Foods that are prepared with unwashed hands or unclean utensils and work surfaces become breeding grounds for harmful bacteria. If they're stored at inappropriate temperatures, if they're cooked insufficiently, it also can encourage the growth of harmful bacteria. So it requires, to safely handle food, it requires cleanliness and appropriate storage and cooking methods. Those are the three sections we're going to talk about, okay? Before we get into those, we're going to talk about washing hands. Why do we do it? Now, bacteria are everywhere, including on the hands. Careful hand washing is the single most important thing you can do when eating or preparing food, as it washes away many of these microorganisms. Now, some bacteria are harmless, but others are not harmless, and they can cause you to be sick. For example, salmonella is a type of bacteria that's often found in raw or undercooked poultry and eggs. That can cause food poisoning. Food poisoning is an irritation of the stomach and intestines caused by eating contaminated food with harmful microorganisms. The symptoms of food poisoning usually include vomiting, stomach cramps, and diarrhea, and can range from mild to severe. Now, botulism is a particularly deadly type of food poisoning caused by bacteria that can grow in canned food that has not been properly processed, meaning that the food was not placed in sterilized containers and it was not cooked adequately prior to being placed in those containers. Sterilization is the process of killing harmful microorganisms on food and the equipment through high temperatures and other methods. Whenever Jane was a baby, we had to sterilize her milk bottles. So we would first have to clean them, then we would have to heat them in temperatures to sterilize them with moisture and things like that. So it's another process of killing those harmful bacteria that cannot live in very high temperatures. Hand washing is a crucial step in protecting oneself and others from harmful bacteria. A person normally touches many objects in the day. All right, so in the course of a day, you may touch a chair, table, doorknobs, lights, right? Money, some of you, telephones, computer, mouse, and keyboard, or other people's hands. So that's another thing you could touch. Now, if you touch other people's hands, other people have touched all of these things as well, and they have bacteria on them. So when people prepare or eat food with unwashed hands, harmful bacteria may be transferred onto the food and then into the digestive system. Since bacteria cannot be seen with the naked eye, some students and some adults may find it hard to understand that you do have bacteria on your hands. You may look at your hands and you may think that they're not clean because there's no visible dirt on them. For example, you may use the toilet and decide that your hands look fine, so you don't wash them. But of course, the most germ-laden environment is the bathroom. And so harmful bacteria can be easily spread when people eat or prepare food without washing their hands after using the toilet. And then serious illnesses can result from that. So that's why it's very, very important you do that. The activities that we have, which we will get to, hopefully, when we get back in school, we'll see. But I do have some activities that maybe we'll get to, and it'll show you how dirt can accumulate on your hands without you even realizing it, okay? All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about in this group time is going to be how do we prepare and eat food in a safe manner, okay? So when handling food, it is not only the hands that need to be kept clean, all right? There are many other objects with which hands come in contact with while preparing and eating food. For example, when preparing and eating a sandwich, the hands may touch many items, including the cupboard, the fridge, the freezer door handle if you get something out of the freezer, containers of like mayonnaise and mustard, butter, pickles, or other condiments, a package of cheese, a package of tin or lunch meat or fish, plastic bags containing lettuce or tomatoes or other vegetables, and the food itself. You're also touching cutting boards, drawer handles, knives, a can opener, plates, chair and table, napkins, placemats, sponges, and dishcloths. I think that was at least like 15 things that you're touching just to make a sandwich. It can be a little alarming to think about the bacteria in all these items. To avoid being overwhelmed or terrified by the thought of all the potentially harmful germs on all these things, your hands, food packages, whatnot, it's important for students to remember the valiant defender of the body's health, the immune system. We talked about this last month, how important our immune system is. Okay, but even though how strong it is at preventing us from getting sick and protecting us after we get sick from getting sick from the same thing, we still need to be cautious of what we put into our bodies. It is the body's natural defense system. It does a terrific job from protecting our body from illness. However, the immune system can use support, which means following good cleanliness habits and practicing certain precautions when preparing and eating our food. Now, I've got a list here, and it's by no means everything that that we would need, but it's a good list, and it's going to have some precautions for us. I'm going to read those out. Now, what's important here is to begin to think about these things as you prepare your food and as you eat your food, and understand that there are risks with unsafe food handling, okay? So I'm going to read these out to you, and as I read them out, I'll take a little pause. You can think about them, about the best way to protect yourself as you're making food for yourself and others and as you're eating food, all right? This is especially important whenever we do get back to school to, and you're eating food, to think about these things as well. All right, these are precautions to take when preparing and eating food. Be sure to have clean hands, clean equipment, and a clean surface for all food preparation. Wash with warm or hot soapy water and dry with a clean towel or paper towels. Replace your kitchen sponges and dishcloths often, all right, as bacteria may multiply in damp items. Keep sponges and dishcloths as dry as possible in between uses. Use a bleach solution to disinfect kitchen counters, cutting boards, cupboard door handles, sponges, and dishcloths, and sinks. So that would be something for your parents. Your parents wouldn't have to handle bleach solutions. We wouldn't, that's something you want to be very careful about. So have them do that. Use separate cutting boards for meat products and non-meat products. That's very important because meat products, if they're not cooked, can have some things in them, some bacteria that need to be cooked out. So you want to have a cutting board for your meat and for your non-meat. So don't mix them. All right, after you're done with your cutting boards, rinse them. Rinse your dishes and equipment after use, then wash in hot soapy water or in the dishwasher. All right, wash the tops of cans with warm soapy water before opening. Wash the can opener, including the blade, after each use. That's very important because whenever things are stored in, say, you go to a Walmart or something and you get a can of something off the shelf, well, you don't know what kind of bacteria is on top of the can, so you want to wipe it off just so that nothing gets inside your food. Another point about the cutting boards that I forgot to mention is it says before you actually wash the cutting boards, rinse them off with warm water, hot water, because you don't want that bacteria, most of it will fall off whenever you rinse it, but you want to wash it afterwards. And you don't want to put that used cutting board into soapy water without first rinsing it off. You want to try and get as much off as possible. Moving on here, allow your dishes to air dry. Okay. Buy only the freshest, unblemished fruits and vegetables. Scrub all your fresh fruits and vegetables with a clean brush under cold running water, even those that require peeling and slicing, as the knife or peeler may transfer bacteria from the outside to the inside of the fruit or vegetable. Okay, so that's something not a lot of people think about, but whenever you buy something from the store, wash it off with a brush, or you could even use like a towel or something like that in water. Get rid of any foods that have mold growing on them. Okay, never breathe in mold. Mold is a type of microorganism called fungi that grows on food, and it is not good for you. Avoid double dipping foods. So an example might be if you're at school and you have a carrot stick into a food dip, don't double dip. Okay, that's just not a good practice, especially if you're sharing that dip with somebody. It's not good practice. Avoid placing utensils that have been inside the mouth into containers of food. Okay, so an example would be using a fork that you're using to spear a pickle or olive from a jar. Okay. Do not drink or eat straight out of a non-single serving milk or juice carton or a yogurt or ice cream container. That's the same thing as if you're sharing a whole gallon of milk or half gallon of milk. Don't drink straight from it. Pour it into a glass. The same thing with yogurt. If you're going to be sharing yogurt, spoon it out into a separate thing. Put chilled foods such as dairy products back in the fridge immediately after using them, rather than letting them sit out on the counter. Do not refill and drink out of a plastic water or beverage bottle, unless it is a purchase bottle made from material that is meant for repeated use and washing. Okay, so basically it means if you go and buy a water bottle from the gas station, throw it away or recycle it after you're done. Don't reuse that. Okay, that's not what it's made for. Wash skin cuts or scratches with warm soapy water, then cover with a bandage and rubber gloves before handling food. Do not place cooked food on the same plates that raw food was placed on. I have done this before as an adult on accident, and I had to fix the situation. I had to throw that item back on the stove to burn off to kill that bacteria. It happens even to adults, so just know that once something is cooked, you don't put it on the same plate, okay, that you did before it was cooked. Be sure meats are cooked thoroughly before eating, all right? That's very important. That's more something like that you would get with your parents on to make sure that the meat is properly cooked on that. All right, so today we went over why we wash hands and why it's important to wash our hands, and also so we went over some precautions to take as we're storing and preparing food, okay? You guys should already know this, but I'm going to go through the steps we take to wash our hands. This is something we were going to do in class, but because we weren't able to be in class last week, we weren't able to make a poster, but I'm going to go over these real quick for you. Use warm water to wet the hands. This is how you wash your hands. Dispense soap into hands and scrub thoroughly for at least 15 to 20 seconds, right up to the wrists. Be sure to rub palms together. Rub the palm of each hand over the back of each hand. Scrub the fingertips and thumbs. Interlock the fingers and scrub in between the fingers. Scrub the fingers with a soapy nail brush if available. I don't have a soapy nail brush, so if you have it, it's a good idea to do that. Then you're going to rinse thoroughly with warm water. You're going to dry your hands with a clean towel or paper towels or anything like that. Then you're going to use a paper towel to turn off the taps to avoid contaminating the hands with the same bacteria just washed off. This is something a lot of people forget to do, but whenever you wash your hands, think about you're touching that sink again, that turning on the valve there, so use a paper towel to turn that back off, especially while you're at school or in public places, okay? Last step, when leaving a bathroom, use a paper towel to open the bathroom door whenever possible, or push the door open with a shoulder. So that's a good practice because you just don't know what bacteria could be on that door handle, okay? Lots of people go in the bathroom, they don't, I'm talking about in public places. You know, there will be some adults that don't wash their hands, and so that door handle, as you're opening it back up, you're getting bacteria in your hands again. So you use a paper towel, especially out in public, when you're opening that bathroom door, okay? That's your basic hand washing steps. You guys all should know some semblance of that. That's all I have for today. Tomorrow we will continue this talk, and we'll talk about how we store food properly and how we cook food properly. And for that, we will get into some things that may be very helpful for your health sciences project for the month, okay? So you'll definitely want to tune into that as well. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys later. I hope y'all have a great week. Go enjoy your week. Get some learning done where you can. And just go enjoy your week before the break. All right? Bye.